You want to mute the news?
Yeah.
News still the wrong. I don't know why they're here, but they're here. Sylvia, we are ready whenever you're ready. Yes, Zoom is good to go.
We had some people here. Okay.
Hi, Sylvia, thank you for your help.
Oh, you're very welcome. Wait a few more minutes and see if anyone else comes.
We give it a minute or two. 7:34 now.
Yeah.
Hello, are you there? I think there was. Hello, are you still there? What do I do now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. We'll start in
Oh,
just a
good.
minute.
Very good. I didn't want to miss it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Vote on the minutes because we don't have a quorum.
Do you want to hear who's on the screen, or
Hmm?
oh, never mind. No, I wasn't sure about welcome guests and roll call of committee members. I wasn't sure if you wanted to hear who else was on the screen.
You can, introduce yourselves, that's fine. Is that what you want?
No, I meant on the Zoom screen. No, I don't want to introduce myself.
Oh.
I just meant on the Zoom screen.
Oh, if you wanted to ask who else was there, it's okay.
fine. It's okay. Forget it. Thanks.
That's somebody from the, community, and, Peter's on the phone. I guess that, Georgia isn't here, so would be on the phone also. I signed. So,
Hi, guys. I'm from the library, the Spuyten Duyvil Library. I just didn't
Hello.
know my name.
Lisa, yeah,
Hi, Melissa.
This is Melissa talking.
Thank you, Melissa.
what's the, from?
The Spuyten Duyvil Library.
She's a children's librarian.
Is there another person from Spuyten Duyvil?
Oh, no, that's it. Oh, hold on a second.
Well, just to start from the very beginning, as far as history is concerned, mayoral, control of the public schools started in 2002. And, at the time, Mayor Bloomberg was in office. And, it was right after 9/11, so things were a little chaotic. And, that's when that was, voted on at the state level on legislation. They abolished the, old Board of Education, and they, changed it over to the mayor control, and, he is able to, pick the chancellor and, members of the, Board of Education, and, there are 13 people on the education board, and, the controller and the, city council speaker, the public advocate, and the 5 borough presidents also have positions on that, so they're people there. So, it's kind of weighted a little bit more on the city hall side than, right. Interestingly, UFT is very much against the whole thing because they feel that, the mayor has too much control. And of course, I guess UFT would like to have more control. They are now suing the, Board of Education in the city because of the
With the
cuts
health
that
plan.
their, Mayor Adams is, posing to the, budget for the education. And, say that there's a law that he's breaking. I'm not quite sure what that is, but they seem to have a case. So, I'm sure that we'll hear much more about it. I can read this, that the New York City, School Union, the Teachers Union, has sued Mayor Eric Adams in an attempt to halt nearly $550 million in school budget cuts, according to a legal document filed Thursday in Manhattan Supreme Court. The lawsuit claims that Adams is violating a state law that bars the city from decreasing its contribution to schools if the city overall revenue hasn't gone down. Revenue went up by $5 billion last year. So, they feel that it's, unfair. The suit describes Adams' education budget cuts as, draconian, and further claims that the cuts will infringe on students' constitutional rights to a sound and basic education. Statement of theirs. There have been two, hearings already, one in the Bronx, Stewart Clinton, High School on, December 5th. And, Sergio from the board, did attend that. And, many of the teachers complained bitterly there, about many things, taking money out of their pockets to, buy supplies for the kids and things like that. But, they did not have a better solution than the mayoral control. Before that, we had the, school boards, and that ended in not a good way because the, members of the school board many times, did things they shouldn't have done. They take funds that the, schools were fundraising and things like that, so they got into a lot of trouble. Queens also has had, a hearing, and on the 18th of January, Brooklyn is doing one, Manhattan also on that date, Staten Island, in, the 29th of January. We'll see how those, hearings go, and, I personally feel that the mayoral control is as good as the mayor who happens to be in office. And that changes all the time. So, this is not, a steady kind of thing. It should be a permanent kind of, system. The school board didn't help, and the mayor, situation does not help either. So, the chancellor, Banks, had promised phonics literacy method of teaching reading, in September, all last year. As far as I know, it hasn't even been enforced.
One of our local schools has a waiver against not teach phonics.
So,
My understanding. Just gives it 24 hours.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, kids only go through once. You don't catch them the first time, you don't proceed with them. So, I hope that something, realistically happens to, make this a better deal, because this isn't working out.
I may have missed this. Who decides if mayoral control stays intact?
Will be at the state level, legislation,
Legislation.
yeah.
So how,
Sylvia, prior to mayoral control, who was controlling? Yeah, who was controlling the schools?
What, I'm sorry.
Prior to mayoral control, because that hasn't always been the case, what did this look like? Who was?
Oh, there were 9, members of the, school board. They had meetings every month. And, they were, kind of on the hip of, the Board of Education. They had direct, communication with them. And, it worked because, I came into education at that time. And, I was active at the district office. We had, President's Council meetings so that all the presidents of all the, PAs met once a month. So everything was transparent and you knew where everything was going. This way, you don't. It kind of is under his, jurisdiction, and they promise you the world, and so far, Bloomberg did a better job because he was a business person, I think, and he ran it like a business. Had his own academy where he trained teachers, even though they hadn't gone to school to be educators, but, he took them from businesses and whatever they were doing, and he trained them to be teachers. That works most of the time. Blasio, had grandiose, ideas of what to do, but he would put a program in and then never follow up. So the funding wasn't there, and he was doing the 3-year-olds,
The pre-K started with de Blasio, and then.
right. So, but he only had it like for a year.
Bloomberg, and then, 3K rolled out in the fall of 2020. 3K rolled out in all districts. It was supposed to be a 7-year, I went through like the proposal process through the city. So it's supposed to be like a 5-year rollout with high-need areas going first. It was already in 3 districts. It was money from the American Rescue Act that they were able to roll it out to all the districts at once. So now it's wide since September of 2020. Did each school district, each district, because there are many districts, like this is District 10 for
Right.
the board, for the Department of Education, did each district have its own school board? Or there was one school board across the 5 boroughs?
It was per district. District 10 had its own school board.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about because, like, I mean, I think District 10 is the largest school district, or the largest district. I'm not 100% sure. Like, what's interesting, like, what's working for a district in the Bronx might not be working for a district in Brooklyn or a district in... And so I wonder, like, we talk about, the Department of Education talks about, like, schools meeting the needs of their community and, like, culturally responsive education, and I wonder if under mayoral control, it's too, like, one size fits all.
Exactly.
I'm not sure, I'm just asking.
You're
Listen,
right, you're right.
This is one voice speaking from running a 3K pre-K program for 6 years. I obviously, like, don't, I just think about, I had, at different points, visited different pre-K centers and 3K centers across the city to, like, better understand what was going on and how it was meeting the needs, and
So
but I just wonder, sorry.
yeah, no, basically, a lot of the, mayoral information that I got was upstate New York, and where the districts are very small. They're almost like in little towns. So comparing that to District 10 with all of the thousands of children that we have here is really not a fair thing. So, it depends on how that person is a mayor. I mean, that basically comes down to it. And also, Mayor, Adams is cutting the K through the 3-year-olds in his budget cuts. He has it down. that it's happening. So,
I try not to get off of it, like, I've seen it come and go like through a few cycles, and I try not to get worked up about it, because I just
yeah,
imagine the young families would, something so crucial away, like something that's making our city run. I mean, 3K and pre-K is not only like a children's issue and an education issue, it's like women's issue and an equity and equality issue. I mean,
that's all right. Those are some of the pitfalls that have happened. On and on, I could read all my papers, but, I don't know if you want to go through all of that. It doesn't really change anything. Basically, I'm trying to sum it up rather than labor it. So anyway, the mayoral, contract, runs until, June 30th, 24. So, the same mayor or the next mayor, will have, they say that probably the mayor control will stay, but it'll be tweaked a little bit to make it a little bit better. But what that means in terms of reality, I don't know. That, I guess, will be down the road, and, we'll hear about that, and certainly, if I hear anything, I'll let you guys know. So,
Yeah, any other specifics you have, do you mind emailing those if you have them on your computer already?
sorry.
Any other specifics about this? Do you mind emailing what you have to
Oh,
committee? No need to go through all of that now, but I'm just
Right,
thinking
right.
that, especially for the folks who aren't here.
it might be,
It might
I'm
be
happy to
useful.
read through all of it, yeah.
Right,
Just
Sorry we
copies of
couldn't,
it, or?
sorry we couldn't be there.
copies.
Sorry I
Okay,
couldn't
yeah.
make it. This was very informative, though. Thank you, Sylvia.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
informative.
So outside of that, we have library reports. Melissa, do you have anything to share with us?
Hey, Melissa,
Nothing,
you should be able.
nothing too new going on at the library. We continue to adjust based on I think it's a total of 10% in budget cuts that we've received. So we continue to adjust because of that. And we have a new STEAM program upcoming at the Spuyten Duyvil Library, so we'll start doing that every Tuesday. So feel free to come on by with your kiddos, let folks know. And that's pretty much it on my end.
Okay, I did, see something on television, which I thought was very interesting. You know that the Sunday programs in the libraries that had it, none of ours have it, but, they, have had their last Sunday to, be open. And, patrons of the library are, very upset because they use the library on weekends for socializing, for, an activity, a place to go. Kids do research and, all the things that happen. So, now those people and children are, unable to do it. So they're now, proposing that perhaps next year they'll use a different day and close it, and, instead of having it, open 7 days. But as I say, it's not in our area, so I think that the main library over on Fordham, was open on Sundays, but,
Yeah, there were
evidently-
3 branches in the Bronx that were open on Sundays. The ones in our community board area, I don't think were any of them. Like Riverdale and Spuyten Duyvil, they were never
Right,
open on
no.
Sundays. Um, I don't know if they will institute like another day to have off instead of Sunday. I'm not sure how that would look. Sunday, we received time and a half. It was voluntary to work Sundays, and we received time and a half. I think that's why they cut the Sundays. So I'm not sure how it would look if they had to cut another day. I think that would be really based on each library and how busy each library is on each day. So we're all very
I
upset
think
about the
they're
Sundays,
just
so of
throwing
course.
that out as a bone, for those people that are upset about the Sunday closing.
Yeah,
I don't know
from
that
what I
it's
understand,
actually
they're,
gonna happen.
go ahead, sorry.
No, I don't know if it's going to happen. No, they're going to think about it.
Yeah, my guess is no, that it won't happen.
Hmm. Because it's used so much during the week. It would seem foolish to close it on a weekday.
Right. I think they would
Me.
sooner cut hours. They would change the hours of branches before they would change around the days anymore. This is all conjecture, of course, but I think they would sooner change hours than they would change days. Like
Mhm.
instead of us
Mhm.
coming in from 9 to 5, everybody would come in from 10 to 6. Right now we have two shifts,
Right.
9 to 5ers and 10 to 6ers. So they would
Mhm.
change that to everybody 10 to 6. So they would potentially need less staff if it came to that.
Right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next year.
Yeah, we're preparing for possibly more cuts in January. And right now we do have an advocacy campaign going. There's a QR code, there's a website. I could email that or drop it in the chat, that folks can go to express their opinions on the budget cuts.
Right. We don't have a chat, but if you let the office know, if you email it there, then you'll get it eventually.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. So, outside of that, the only thing I can do is the old business. We haven't heard from the SCA again, the School Construction Authority, as far as our two schools are concerned. Hopefully, the beginning of the year, I will, send them, an email or a letter and, ask them how they're doing, so that we have some input into the whole thing, and, how that goes. Outside of that, unless you have anything you want to bring up. Two things I thought of, actually. I read that CUNY is cutting back on the programs, trying to budget cuts. Is that touching you at all?
We are feeling it in terms of staffing, so we've been asked to cut at least 10% of our adjuncts, so our part-time, staff. So, which is not good because at least for us, our enrollment is still high. So I don't know if that's gonna look like bigger classes in the coming semesters, or, I don't know what that will look like, so.
Right. Well, it'll be limited. Some of the courses won't be available.
You're full-time, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which means for students, it's gonna take them longer to finish, right?
Of course,
So, yeah.
want their credit so that they can graduate, so they'll take something.
Is there like a rule about how many kids you can, sorry, that's me, how many students you can have in a class? I'm so sorry, I'm used to like my kids.
We don't have rules about that. And so what has happened is, over the last 10 years, slowly the enrollment has creeped up. So what were classes that were 25 students 10 years ago are now 35, 40 students. The only limitation is when we get to 50 students, at that point, you can have a TA. And then when you get to 60, it's considered jumbo class, so we get, for us, that counts as a class and a half instead of teaching one class. Our whole workload is based on credits, so I won't even get into that because it's a complicated
Right.
puzzle, trying to make sure you teach enough credits every semester, but yeah, but it has implications, for both the people that like are obviously gonna lose their jobs, right, part-timers who won't, or they won't have as much work,
Right.
and then, of course, like I said, the impact on the students. And really, our goals also have been like to try to get them to graduate sooner than later because they were already, you know, taking 5, 6, 7 years to finish.
Mhm.
This is not going to, this is my professional
Right,
opinion, this
right.
is not gonna
Right.
help that.
No, it's not fair for the students.
Mhm.
And aside from the staff, you know, it's more, I
Right.
think, coming down on their heads.
And then at the same time, we've been not mandated, but really been pushed to teach more in-person classes, which I'm not necessarily against, given that our students are commuter students, and so they're living at home with their families, and that's tough, in terms of trying to learn online.
Right.
So I'm not against that. However, if we're going to keep increasing the student population in our tiny classrooms, it's also a space issue. They're already like sardines in there. So that's an issue too. So I don't know what we're
Come up with some solution.
Yes, obviously, yeah.
You're Hunter, right?
I'm in Hunter. And we're one of the better off in terms of, some of these issues. So some of the community campuses are gonna feel it bigger than others. Particularly the community colleges, because remember, CUNY is not just the 4-year colleges, but there are a number of community colleges that are already high enrollment.
Keep us informed on that. Yeah. And also, in the past, I haven't, dwelt on the, younger children. Because, when I started, I had done that, and I met with the, younger children and the, you know, teachers and whatever. And, we tried to get them money, you know, from the city for programs or playgrounds or whatever. They wouldn't, handle it because they felt that that was not in the system. I'm just wondering if now it would be in the system because they have the K through, the 3-year-olds, pre-K, and, things have changed. I don't know what your feeling is on that, but if you feel that we should have meetings on that kind of thing, I'd be happy to have them.
I mean, I think we should. Most of the children in Community 4-8 are attending publicly funded 3K and pre-K programs as opposed to privately funded. So I think if that's something we can look at, and also I have always felt that in early childhood, money went further than, like, we're not looking for new research labs or sports arenas. We're looking for things like playgrounds and art specialists and things like that. So I always think, and also, like, they're just our youngest community members. Why not, try to give to them as well?
Yeah. I was trying to get, money for a, dollhouse, a large dollhouse, and the city laughed at me. Yeah.
Dollhouses are the best, I think, for language development. When you take out the dolls and the animals, you hear all kinds of things.
Right, exactly.
What's going on at your house? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see, you know, any direction that you'd like us
Absolutely.
to go, then
Yeah, I'm happy to explore
consider
that.
yeah. And, anything, Rita, is there anything you want to bring up?
You covered quite a bit already. You're always very informative.
Right.
I just hate to see the mayor ruining the schools, and I'm sorry. I think he is. I was an assistant for many, 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 many years, through a lot of mayors and stuff. And I don't know, everybody tries to outdo the next, and it just, I don't know, they're just not heading in the right direction.
things were different than they were.
No, I think they're worse.
Okay, so, on that note, we should have a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And thank you.
I
That
second it.
is the end of the meeting.
Thank you, thank you.
Unfortunately, we didn't
Bye,
have the rest of
everybody.
our.
Bye.
Bye-bye, thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.